You're 14 years old, standing in the August heat of your father's sun-baked field. The Spartan boy standing at the edge of the property is not looking at you. He is looking through you. He appraises your body the way a farmer assesses a row of grain, calculating how many future laborers you can produce for the state. Your father stands 3 feet away, and he doesn't look at you either. He knows that if he cracks open, if he shows a single flash of paternal grief, the Spartan will see it. And a Helot man who shows emotion in front of a Spartan is a Helot man who gets culled before winter. In a system that views you strictly as livestock, human attachment offers zero comfort. It is a measurable liability that has to be buried completely if you want to survive the afternoon. A 2-hour walk later, you arrive at your newly assigned estate. This heavy stone mill will become the metronome of your existence. An older enslaved woman explains the rules. She tells you the grain quotas. She points to the water source and warns you, above all else, to never have a lamp burning past dark when the Krypteia death squads roam the valley. This animated ledger represents the stark survival calculus you are forced to maintain in your head. On one side, your required agricultural yield. On the other, your flickering probability of living another year. You do the math. If you keep your head down and meet the quotas, perhaps they won't have a reason to single you out. It is a desperate illusion of control, masking the reality that Spartan violence operates entirely on its own terms. By 16, you have a daughter. The logic of the Spartan military dictates that a girl is not a physical threat to their hegemony, which means she is a mathematically safe variable. You nurse her at night while your own body breaks down. The heavy labor locks your spine into a permanent curve, and your teeth begin to crack from the stone dust mixed into the daily flour. Then, at 19, you have a son. He is loud from the first moment. He objects to the world, and you know instantly that his natural physical presence makes him incredibly dangerous. You immediately recalibrate the math. You feed him enough to work, but never enough to look strong. You teach him to stoop his shoulders when he walks, and you make a sharp warning sound in your throat whenever he stands too straight. You systematically dismantle your own child's pride before he even understands what it is, because teaching him to make himself invisible is the only way to keep him breathing. For years, the estate ledger records adequate output, but your son turns 17, and he is simply too tall. He possesses a quiet discipline, easily carrying loads 2 grown men struggle with. October arrives. The nights lengthen, providing the exact cover the Krypteia need to move through the hilltops unseen. No amount of careful undereating or forced stooping can halt human biology. Your son has grown into the exact shape the state is trained to destroy. On a moonless night, the valley goes completely quiet. The farm dogs, conditioned by generations of terror, don't even bark at the passing shadows. That absolute silence is your only warning. By dawn, you find his sleeping mat in the outbuilding empty. The Spartans haven't punished a crime. They have simply executed a routine, sanctioned murder exercise on your property. The estate overseers record no death. They note a temporary drop in agricultural output, update the ledger, and within a single season, a smaller, younger boy is shipped in from another valley to fill the empty space. 17 years of crushing physical labor and perfect obedience were irrelevant. The state took your son anyway, proving that the math was always a lie. You die 2 years later at 31, your lungs completely giving out from the grain dust. They bury you in the hard, rocky margin at the property's edge, in a grave so shallow it will be plowed over in 50 years. Modern historians will write endless texts admiring Spartan military strategy. They will abstract your entire existence into economic data, erasing the blood that fed their celebrated armies. But the brutal appraisal of human beings didn't end in the dirt of ancient Greece. Wait until you see how the Ottoman Empire selects women for the Topkapi Palace. The cage will be made of silk instead of stone, and the accounting ledgers will survive the fall of the empire, but the inventory process is exactly the same.